Kenya is an interesting country. We are a population that is mainly made up of youth, with the average age of a Kenyan being around 20 years of age. These young people have energy, they have drive, and they have ambition. However, they lack the opportunities and the resources they need to be able to make their dreams come true.
Unemployment is a global catastrophe, and it takes innovation, investment, and commitment among all stakeholders.
The problem we face in terms of unemployment, in terms of slow economic development, can be unlocked by unlocking the power of enterprise.
Speaking of innovation, the Kenya Catalytic Jobs Fund was founded for this very reason in 2019.
The Catalytic Jobs Fund is about the best of Kenya. This is about entrepreneurship, this is about innovation, and this is about job creation. And why it's so exciting is that it just covers the whole country.
The Kenya Catalytic Jobs Fund aims to test innovations that have the potential for large-scale job creation.
So the UK is really proud to support the Jobs Fund. This is about modern partnership. We have a very strong economic partnership already with Kenya, but this is about taking it to a new level, more innovative, more digital, and linking up the ecosystems between our two countries.
The KCJF Business Competition 2020 has been a long and worthwhile journey.
We're very excited about today because today is a culmination of the Kenya Catalytic Jobs Fund business competition process, which started in February when we did a call for applications, and we received 850 applications from across 44 counties in Kenya.
In this year's competition, the panel of judges comprises of entrepreneurs who have not only been successful in their fields, but have the know-how to determine which business has the potential to create large-scale impact.
This year we have a very exciting and diverse panel of judges who bring in different expertise to the table. Obviously, as we are considering picking the top 5 winners, we are looking at different aspects of the business. So we are looking at, whether the businesses are bankable and whether we can invest in those businesses. We're looking at whether those businesses are addressing a specific need in the market. We're looking at whether those businesses have the right components in terms of the team, the brand, the product to make them successful.
Starting with the Chief Judge Darshan Chandaria, the Group CEO of Chandaria Industries, the large tissue, liquids and hygiene products manufacturer and distributor in Eastern Central Africa. Joram Winamo, CEO of Sandbox, a permanent residence of over 20 professional disciplines providing needed support for business growth. He is also the managing director of Wild International, a consulting and training company that supports entrepreneurs. Estandeti, an executive director at the East Africa Venture Capital Association, EAVCA, which represents the private equity industry in East Africa and provide a voice for industry players to raise awareness and engage on regional policy matters. Fred Murimi, MD, Centum Capital, with an MBA focused in finance. He has a history of working in the investment and private equity industry. Terian Chebet, founder and CEO of Kiara Organics, one of Kenya's leading homegrown skincare brands. She is a media and communications professional with more than 15 years' experience in media practice and media leadership. Just like in 2019, the Kenya Catalytic Jobs Fund has narrowed down the finalists to these 10. 5 of these entrepreneurs will walk away with a capital of £100,000 each to invest in their business.
Hello, judges. I am William. I'm the co-founder and CEO at Zumi. Zumi is revolutionizing apparel retail in Africa. When I first moved to Kenya about 5 years ago, I discovered something crazy. A second-hand H&M t-shirt costs more in Nairobi than it does brand new in London. Zumi is putting the power of e-commerce technology into the hands of informal retailers. We have a mobile app that we're developing that enables retailers to restock with the click of a button. We provide free same-day delivery to our retailers to save them the hassle and the cost of going to the market themselves. We use our order data to provide them with financing options which are responsible to help them grow their businesses. And because we're aggregating the demand of hundreds of retailers, we're able to get the cheapest prices from suppliers and pass on this cost savings to our customers. So to capture this big opportunity, Zumi has a simple business model. From our experience at Amazon and Jumia, we have designed a lean and asset-light model that's built to scale from the very outset. Zumi acts as a marketplace that connects informal retailers with suppliers. So how does it work? We have a team of sales agents who go into the market and onboard retailers for the first time. Then those retailers place an order through our app or with a sales agent, and we deliver the same day to our customers. Now, the reason we love the Zumi model is both large in scale and large in impact. When we combine the cost savings from delivery and the cost of goods with the catalytic impact of credit, we're increasing our retailers' income by $250 a month. That's a 50% increase. Finally, the KCGF grant would be pivotal for us. We've been already in conversations with Series A investors, and these use of funds would be used to hit the milestones we need to unlock that Series A investment.
What are the goods here being sourced? Are they second-hand clothing?
So we are acting as a marketplace. So some of our supply is second-hand clothing, some of it is new clothing, which is imported. And a big focus for us at the moment is the partnerships that we're establishing with local manufacturers.
What's your competitive edge?
Yeah, so it's a great question. So there's really two things. Number one, with scale, we achieve the network effect of growth. The more we scale, the cheaper the prices that we can get from our suppliers, and the more cost savings we can pass on to our customers. And for any new entrant coming in, that's a very, very difficult thing for them to compete with. And it's a significant value proposition to our customers, as we've seen so far with our growth.
So, I'm Voss from Jijenge Academy. There are 7 million unemployed youth in Kenya that lack the access to safe and dignified work. These are the beneficiaries of Jijenge. 85% of our students never touched a laptop before our program. 96% were unemployed, and almost a third are orphans or homeless at one point. We build the infrastructure to enable base-of-the-pyramid workers to break the cycle of poverty with data labeling income. We are 1, a training, 2, a job, and 3, the infrastructure to permanently access that job. But our core competency comes from our community roots. Jijenge developed over 3 years by listening to the needs of orphans in Nairobi and from surrounding areas. That's how we're able to take them from no computer literacy to earning 20, sometimes 30,000 shillings a month from online work. How do we do this? Data labeling. It's the human labor required to train artificial intelligence. It's how Tesla teaches its cars to self-drive. They say it's the biggest bottleneck to the growth of the machine learning industry, and that as AI grows, it's set to become a $1 billion market by 2023. We think it's the easiest skill set to teach low-skilled workers, and the market has untapped potential for jobs, unlike highly specialized markets like coding, where the market saturates very quickly. We've already digitized half our training curriculum. When we fully get an e-learning platform, we can train thousands of workers without buying a single laptop, because we'll be utilizing pre-existing computer labs in universities and schools across Kenya. In short, we want to turn every computer lab across Kenya into an income-generating hub for the community. And that social franchising will allow us to achieve exponential scale by tapping into the existing community networks of partners. With a vote of confidence from you all, we can signal to the international data labeling market that Kenya should be their next country of expansion.
Just quickly take us through what the experience of onboarding is like, especially from a social impact perspective. How do they find out about you? Do they come in, stay on as students? Do they train and then they leave at some point?
So from our strength is in the community involvement. Through the leaders, through the youth themselves, they are very proactive. They want their brothers and sisters to succeed, and they come on board. So it's very easy to take the word out there. Even through colleges, just before COVID, they were there. We were trying to get into, especially the small colleges within the community. I said, come train us, we pay you at a fee so that we can have at least an output for our students.
Hello, judges. My name is Dixon Ayuka, and I'm the co-founder of Ujuzi Kilimo Solutions, and we are out to bring data-driven farming to the world's smallholder farmers. Low productivity is a challenge to many smallholder farmers. Right now, farmers are making an informed farming decision precisely on the use of inputs, and the challenge is because they are depending on agronomic experts to provide these services to them. For each agro expert, they need to reach 5,000 farmers. So ideally, it's impossible that a farmer will ever get to be served by an agriculture expert. This is resulting into declining productivity. Farms in Kenya today are producing at only 30% their full potential. This as compared to farms in developed nations. This is a $700 loss in productivity each and every season. We have developed the first proprietary patent-pending sensor technology to enable smallholder farmers precisely determine the levels of nutrients in the soil, send all this data to an online platform where it's analyzed and the farmer receives precise, actionable recommendations directly into their mobile phone. So this device is provided to the field agents who go out there and provide the service to the smallholder farmers. We are targeting smallholder farmers who are farming in a farm between 0.5 acres and 5 hectares. And in Kenya, we have 4.5 million such smallholder farmers. And in the region that we are working in, which is Rift Valley and Central Province, we have 2.7 million smallholder farmers. By the year 2025, Ujuzi Kilimo is targeting to reach 18.5% of this population, which is a $10 million opportunity based on the $20 the farmers pay per farming season. Our device costs at only $1,000 as compared to $5,000 which our competitors' device costs. Therefore, we can actually provide this service at a cheaper price as compared to them. And we just don't provide agronomic advice for these smallholder farmers. But throughout the crop growing period, we have a platform that provides them with crop management advice and even market information by the end of the season. And that is why I'm welcoming you all today to ensure that we're able to reach these farmers by this particular year. Thank you.
Is this a service that's required every year, every planting season, or is it once off? And then how would you generate future revenues once the soil testing is done?
Yeah, so ideally, soil testing should be done each and every time that you are changing a crop in your farm, which is twice a year. But right now, what we're seeing is farmers are doing it once a year. But besides like offering the service, we also have the data platform that provides crop management practices as a service to these smallholder farmers, and they can pay for that.
Okay. Do you have a subscription fee for that
Yes.
platform?
Yes.
What's the cost?
The cost is $5 per farming season. Yeah.
Okay.
Don't go anywhere. We still have more innovators buying their time to make their pitch.